Yeah, thank you. Very good afternoon to one and all. Respected Principal Dr. Uma Shankar, uh, a respected Honorable first person of this session, Dr. Sachin Kumar Sharma. I welcome all of you back in this post-lunch session for two more engaging sub-themes of the National Seminar, Fostering Research Culture in Higher Education Institutes. I was reading the other day K.C. Bhattacharya's works, where I found a very interesting fact stated, and I wish to quote: any idea that comes from outside should be welcome as long as in creating movement of thoughts. On this note, I unquote, we understand that research is a multidimensional activity that consists of an inquiry, investigation, logical, critical, objective, and systematic exploration of literature, raising questions, qualitative and quantitative analysis of research findings, and many more. We have amidst us to walk us through one such multidimensional path of research. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce to this August gathering our resource person for this session, Dr. Sachin Kumar Sharma, who is from Cluster Innovation um, Center of University of Delhi. Dr. Sharma is an assistant professor in the Information Systems at Cluster Innovation Center, University of Delhi. He has received his PhD degree in Building Science and Intelligence from the same university. He has worked as assistant professor in Department of Computer Science in reputed institutions of University of Delhi. He also has a kind of an expertise and experience from the industria. He has been a very active writer, author, and he has published many of his works. He joined the University of Delhi in 2012 to pursue academic and application intensive research in artificial intelligence, urban computing, and information and computational social science. He has published more than 20 research publications in reputed journals with Scopus Index journals, and he has presented many papers in conferences. He has been an invited speaker in many of the FDP programs and orientation programs. And it is in one such FDP program where I got an opportunity to interact and listen to Dr. Kumar. This is going to be a very engaging session, I promise to you all. He has attended and demonstrated his research work at several international and national conferences and seminars. He also collaborates with researchers from defense research and developmental organizations from IIT Delhi and National University of Singapore and many other reputed institutes. He employs his skills in interdisciplinary research areas such as intelligent systems, urban informatics, e-governance, and artificial intelligence, Society 5.0, and digital ethics. He is also a reviewer of many reputed international journals and conferences. His main thrust area is to develop products and technologies to be deployed in a real world environment, keeping human comfort in center and explore the domains of human and technological interactions. He has provided consultations to several startups and corporations. He is also promoting interdisciplinary research, innovation, and entrepreneurship at Cluster Innovation Center, project driven pedagogies, research publication outputs, and startup promotions. Today we have Dr. Kumar with us, who is going to take us onto this title that he has posed to us and is going to share with us, is exploring the idea of writing research proposal in humanities. I welcome you once again, sir, and uh, and the medium is all yours.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving me this opportunity and for such a nice introduction. I would like to thank Dr. Kamla and college administration and IQAC team for inviting me and giving me this opportunity. And I would also like to congratulate the administration for organizing such a nice national conference on very relevant and important topic in present day research when India is actually trying hard to showcase its research and increase research publication output. Thank you so much. So let's start this talk. So I am thankful for inviting me, and I would be delivering my lecture on topic exploring the idea of research, writing research proposals in humanities. As discussed, I am assistant professor at Cluster Innovation Center, University of Delhi. Outline of my presentation is first I'll discuss basic things about research, very fundamental things, starting from the definition, how we do research, what are the research questions in front of us. I will try to relate it with the recent development in coronavirus. After that, I'll discuss about the basics of research proposal, what is a research proposal, how to write it, what should we have in our mind before writing research proposals, how to devise our questions of research proposals. Then after I'll discuss about type of research proposals. After there are various types of research proposals, taking into account the perspective, you can decide there are many type of project proposals in each category. So we'll discuss that. After that, I'll discuss about from a good proposal. After that, I'll discuss some examples of good research samples proposals with you. Then once research proposal is complete, we write research proposal to conduct the research. And if research is big and we require funding, so we also need to understand the process for applying for funding. So I'll discuss about funding agencies, international and national funding agencies. After that, I'll discuss about government schemes for funding research in humanities and social sciences. Then I'll give some advice about proposal writing in the end and the funding process, and then I'll conclude my presentation.
Sorry, sir, your slide is not moved from the first slide onwards. So, is it? I am finding it.
It is line one.
Right now, yes, I can see the second slide. Yeah.
Now it is third one.
Yeah.
Okay, and now it is second.
Yes, it is second now.
This is third.
No, this is the second one.
Okay, then I have to do it again and again actually. Okay, no problem.
Okay.
I hope it is visible. So
yes, sir.
Now we come to the basic things about research. So we define research as systematic investigation into the study of materials and sources in order to establish facts and reach new conclusions. In a simple understanding, if we think that we initially don't know about any context, we don't know about any research problems, and we ask questions. And once we ask questions, we see that there are some things which have already been done and there are some things which we need to establish. But what is to be achieved and what is to be left, which has already been covered, we have to cover that area. And that area we cover with the help of the literature survey, find the research gaps, and then we try to identify that these are the questions. And once questions are established, we follow a systematic investigation process. Depending on our project, we identify what are the research methods and then we reach to a new conclusion. Basically, the main motive of this process is to create new knowledge in already existing knowledge pool. So already existing knowledge pool has some information, some data, some situations which has already been explored, but we have understood after reading all that material that there are some things which are missing. So to understand and to validate that knowledge, we follow a systematic investigation and then try to add new understandings, new theory, new concepts, new tool, new softwares, so that we add something to the already existing pool. So that is the basic understanding of the research. In more specific manner, we can say that research is a process of systematic inquiry that entails collection of data, documentation of critical information, and analysis and interpretation of that data and information in accordance with suitable methodologies set by specific professional fields and academic discipline. So this is a little bit complex definition, but we try to simplify it with the help of one example. We take example of coronavirus. Before last year, before January, we were not aware about the coronavirus or COVID-19, and we had no information about how to deal with this situation because it was a new virus and it was a pandemic, and it was spreading like fire. So every country was in panic, administrators were in panic because there was no information base or knowledge pool to get the answers about how to stop the transmission of this virus, how to identify or how to find the cure of this virus. So people started asking fundamental questions like, can COVID-19 transmit through air? Then some studies were conducted, and these studies were conducted in scientific and investigative manner, so that the whatever results they are getting, that result is actually similar in same context if repeated multiple times. If result is changing each time, then that is not the research. Research should be with the same number of parameter and the context, we should be able to get the same results. So this was the situation last year. After that, from different perspectives, we started investigation and research around coronavirus from sociological perspective, also from governance perspective, also from uh, medical perspective, developing cure, vaccine, all these things, people from different background, because it was impacting the whole society, every sphere of our life. So people with expertise, they came together, they started asking relevant questions around COVID-19 theme and developed the area. So now we have a knowledge pool, which is validated knowledge pool and a good understanding of how to tackle the situation. Although we are not able to contain the situation because of the transmission rate, but we have fairly now good idea how to avoid it, how to impose lockdown in limited manner, how to make sure that balance is maintained. So this is the way research is conducted, and which we have seen in last 1 year how things improve. So earlier we were also asking questions like, can sound wave stop COVID-19? So we were beating drums, we were beating thalis and all these type of things we were doing because we were in uncertainty and we had no idea how to tackle the situation. So we asked that question, we did the study in scientific manner, and we got to know that this is just a opinion that this way it can be done. It is not a scientific way of stopping a virus from transmission. Like that, if we take example of the our higher education system, in which student right now attending classes from home, and so if we want to know what is their performance in the previous situation, what is their performance in or learning outcomes in the online mode, so we have to conduct the study, because right now we don't know. So to understand and to validate that this is the fact and this is the knowledge which can be uh, considered as a true knowledge or validated knowledge, we have to conduct a systematic study so that we can understand what are the benefits, in online classes, what are the disadvantages of online classes, are student happy with the online classes, or are student or not happy with the online classes. So like that, we actually do research in systematic manner. We develop the context, we read the literature, we read already developed or conducted work, then we identify the unknown areas. These unknown areas may be new, these unknown areas may be smaller, sometimes they may be large in case if problem is very new, and then we try to solve or fill those gaps by creating new knowledge by following a systematic investigation. So there are many aspects which are included in the research. A research can be conducted from an academic and medical and scientific purpose. A research can also be undertaken from some other perspective. A research can also be conducted on the people, their life choices, their life style. A research can also be conducted on a group of people or a large section of the people. So there are many aspects to the research, and we can conduct in each case if we are able to generate new knowledge which is enhancing our knowledge pool, already existing knowledge pool, then we call it is a research area. It may be small, It may be small but novel, it may be large but an incremental. So this way, but if it is adding something into the already existing knowledge pool according to the peer evaluation, then we say that research is innovative and research is enhancing the overall quality and overall knowledge understanding of the society and the academic fraternity. So before we start research, first thing and very important thing is research questions. So you see that whenever you have a situation and you do not find any answer, so you have some questions in front of you, like which start from who, where, how, when, what, and why. So you ask these questions, you try to correlate your thoughts and see, am I able to get the answer to these questions on my own, or I need to conduct some investigation, follow some method which can give me the answer to these questions. So depending on the scale of that problem, you identify your questions, your limitations, your limitations of the study, and your requirement of the resources, how and what impact it will take to the society. So there are so many things here and there are so many questions which you come up and then you try to solve those questions. So I have devised some example questions here around COVID so that we can understand that a situation can start from a very simple perspective and it can become a very good research and study project which we can conduct in our research institutions. And it is novel and very important because it will enhance the knowledge pool, already existing knowledge pool in our academic fraternity. So let's take example of 4 areas of COVID and its impact. First one is COVID-19 and education. Second one is COVID-19 and social media. Third one is COVID-19 and resource management. And fourth is COVID-19 and contact tracing. So if we take the first one, we will see that COVID has impacted our school education, our higher education, all type of education. Earlier, students were coming to the classes. Now they are not able to come to the classes because of the lockdown, pandemic, and this infection spreading very rapidly. So although the education work is still going on, but there can be a question if what is the level of understanding of the same subject by the same set of student in the offline mode and in the online mode. So we can have a question to get the quantitative assessment, quantitative evaluation of the total status of our education system online in comparison to the offline. So we can have a question like learning and performance evaluation in higher education, school education due to the COVID-19. So here we have simple question that we want to compare the two models of education or information delivery to our students. So this way we can start thinking about and developing project around this theme. If we come to
sorry,
yes, ma'am.
I think so. The slide has to move to the fifth one or sixth one. Yes, thank you. Yes.
It is moved.
Yes, it has now. Yes.
Okay, sir. Ma'am, if it is not moving, then just let me know so that I can do it. Although I am doing it from my side. Okay.
Sure. Yes.
Okay. So now we are discussing about COVID-19 and social media. In social media, we see that different type of misinformation is spreading here and there. We have various sections in our society for their personal benefit or for their uh, ideological benefits. They create fake news. They circulate that fake news and try to create an impression that everything is fine or everything is against. Like that, the social media war, Twitter war or hashtag war is going on in social media to capture the imagination of the people and to manage the overall dissemination of the information in favor of particular section of society, or you can say government can also be part of it for management of the perception control over the COVID. So for that perspective, we need to identify that what type of misinformation campaigns are there on social media. We can develop strategies and models to detect those on social media. We can also identify several questions like how social media is impacting one particular community, how social media is misinforming us and making us think in a different manner, forcing us to exercise our choice in a certain manner. So these type of project combining together, addressing simple and very basic questions can be conducted around COVID-19. If we come to the COVID-19 and resource management, we can see that it is a large scale resource allocation process in COVID-19 management. So government is mainly responsible for providing public distribution items, through public distribution systems, subsidies and all these things, and also health related benefits and facilities. But if we take example of Dharavi, and we conduct a study that whatever steps government has taken, whether they resulted in a positive implementation of government policy and helping us to manage better situation, then we can also have a good project here in this manner, which will then become a case study and can also be given to similar type of situations and available in different metropolitan cities. So this way we can start a simple question and then start addressing this question and whatever sub questions coming into our mind, and we can design a very good project around these things, very basic things. Then we have contact tracing app. So if suppose if somebody is from philosophy or ethics background and they want to understand how technology is uh, taking control of their life, like how technology is able to access where they are at this point in time, where they will be next uh, after some time, is their whole schedule of the day that is being traced by Arogya Setu app, because it may be a contact tracing app which will helping you to uh, to save yourself from the people who are infected, and giving you the information that people surround in your surrounding, how many people are there who are infected from COVID. So but this can also, if it is constantly accessing your information about the location, it can also become a surveillance tool. So what should be the balance we should maintain between these two, so that can be a good idea to start with. So this way, from a public uh, information, you can understand the situation, you can explore the situation, then you can create a basic, you can develop a basic framework around this information, do your exploratory study, and then you come up with a very good and innovative project, which will also help administration, government, and society in better understanding the situation, creating enhancing the knowledge pool, a valid with valid knowledge, and to make a society a better place. So we have understood that now we have research problems and research objectives in our mind, and we also have in our mind what do we want to achieve from these research problems. Okay, so we can have research problems which can produce some research solutions, or like some columns or some research papers, some policy reports. We can also have, is slide visible?
No, sir. Next
Okay.
slide. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Visible, I think.
Yes, now it's visible.
So we were discussing about the research problems and research objectives. We have understood that from a very from real world you can take, and you can take insights, you can take experience of the people, and then you can design your research problems and research projects. So that is the very fundamental thing about the research project development. But after that, you also have in your mind what are your expectations from the research problems. Means what type of research problems you are taking up according to your expertise in the area and the availability of the resources which you can access, and what type of solution you are approaching from that research problem or the research objective. So your solution can be a research paper, your solution can be a poster presentation, conference publication, your research outcome can be a model, or conceptual design. Your research outcome can be a policy paper which you can, after the study, can give it to the government or the local authorities to implement in the particular area in which you have done the study. Your research outcome can be patents. Your research output can be your model or software tool which you have developed, or it can be a theory or a concept or a new interpretation of already existing scenario. Okay, in the technological advancement which are changing the society. So from humanity perspective, you can give new theory, have they are actually intact, they can be applied or not, or what modifications we need to make in those theories or the concept. So that is our expected output which we are expecting from our research problems. Now in between these two ends, we have a gray area in which we have to provide a system from which we can go from research problem to the research outcomes. And in this gray area comes the research plan, or you can say this is the actually part of systematic study. In systematic study, what happens that first you need to identify the resources, and then how you are going to use those resources following the research methodology to achieve your research outcomes. When we talk in terms of the resources, so we have basically many types of resources which involve in.
Next slide, please. Sorry.
Is it visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I'll start like that only. I think if it is visible. So we were discussing about the resources. In resources, you have financial resources like funding. If you have some study which is very small and you can do it alone with your available expertise and the individual human resource, then you don't need funding resources. But if you trying to make impact and you have a large study which you want to conduct, so you need financial help. And for financial help, you need to arrange your financial resources. That comes through funding. You can go for funding from national organizations, international organizations, private players, non-government organizations. You can go anywhere, even you can take help of the family members also. Then comes the research guidance. Whether you are new to that area or you are expert in that area, still you need in interdisciplinary study some expert advice from different domain. So if that is the case, then you have to identify who are the like-minded people or researchers, and they have done work in your area, or they are expert in that area and are able to provide you research guidance. So you can go and ask them, and you can write mail, and you can means create contact so that you are able to get the connection and help, academic help or intellectual help in your research project, or to address your research problem to achieve your research goal. You also need sometimes infrastructure, lab, systems, space, server. These type of things are also there. That to conduct a study, if you are managing a large team, you need to provide them digital resources. So for that thing, you also need space. You also need funding. That will also come from the financial funding you are securing for your project, because you want to address your research problems and want to reach to the research goals. You also need research human resources, because an individual person cannot do a very large research. It has become now a teamwork. So from that perspective, if you do, then you need in Indian context, you need junior research fellows, postdoctoral scholars fellowships. You need to provide through the financial resources, and then you hire people so that they can work on your idea. You guide them, and they produce the output or try to do the things according to the experiment which you have designed. After that, you also need administration support, in which administration or in which college, university or research center you are working. You also need to be interacting with the administration, because money will come from that administration account, and it will go to your lab or for your equipment purchase and human resources salary for this purpose. So that administration support is also important for managing the fund, and all things are going according to the rule and regulation, general financial rule and regulation of the government of India, like that. So for that administration support, you also need funding, because some part of some percentage of your project funding, it will be taken by your parent organization in order to help you in execution of the research project. And then comes the actual execution design or research design of your project, which you design and use these resources to achieve your research output. If you take all these things, all this understanding into consideration and write in a formal manner, then this whole understanding written in document is called research proposal. So basically, research proposal is a conceptual structure within which research is conducted. It is actually a blueprint for your project. How do you collect your data? How do you measure your data? How do you analyze and interpret the data and results obtained after the experiment? It provides what is the actual questions you are addressing, what is the hypothesis you are trying to prove or disprove, or what are the operational implications of the data which you are getting, and how it is going to satisfy the questions or give you the right answers after execution of this project. It also help you in managing research operations efficiently and in a productive manner, because everything you have written in objective manner, rational manner, in clear cut understanding by segmentizing your whole research solution into different uh, segments, so that you can focus and you can actually arrange them in such a manner that you are able to uh, parallelize those works and then get your work done in efficient manner in very less time. So basically, if we go deep now on research proposal is what that now we are very serious about to do research and do a scientific research, and we have a project, we have understanding, we have read about it, so we are applying now for the funding. So earlier we were asking very simple questions like who, where, how, when, what, why, and we were generating very basic idea about the research problem. But now we have to be very specific about the research proposal and our research work or research questions which we are actually trying to address. So basically we have to ask these questions from us when we are writing our research proposal, so that our research proposal is very unambiguous manner, is providing information to everybody who is reading or who is the stakeholder of our research, and mainly for the people or the for the jury or the board who is going to the jury or board which is going to decide whether the funding or whether our research project should be accepted for funding or not. So for that thing you need to know about what is study about, what study you are trying to do, what is this study about. You have to be very clear about this question. After that you ask why this study is being made. Is this study being made because it is relevant for the society, it will help the society, community, or any particular section of the society or your institution, or just for the fun you just want to explore your idea or your fantasy? Okay, so you have to address these questions why you are doing it. For example, I designed that how can I reach from earth to moon. Okay, so this is not a feasible research project. Okay, it is my fantasy which I've been trying to just use the government fund and try to find out whether I can do it or not. That is a different story, because it is not a feasible or it will not look like that it is can be achieved. So you have to be very specific why you are doing it, what is the significance of your work, and whether it is actually contributing in any welfare, comfort, or anything, any tool you are making efficient, and you are improving life of the people or the community, or you are giving new theory and addressing the loopholes of the previous theory, you are helping the government, you are helping the society, you are helping your university. Anywhere means it should have some direct or some indirect implications. of benefits coming out of your research. So where next question is, where will the study be carried out? So we need to understand where this study will be carried out. Is there any specific area which you want to explore? Okay, for example, if some area is there where terrorism is taking place and you want to explore that area, so this is not a feasible research project and funding will not be provided to you. Okay, because situation is not there and you will not be able to do it. So possibility of execution of this project becomes very little. So we have to keep design our research proposals and keep asking these questions and make sure that everything is feasible and achievable. What type of data is required? What type of data you want to collect? You want to collect quantitative data, you want to collect qualitative data in your research project. So you have to specify that thing also. Where can be the required data found? In which location you will found it? How you will find it? How you will collect that data? Are you using computer science methods like sensors to collect the data? Are you going one by one to the people, and how you fund your travel to get the data? You are conducting online survey or sending it to the people? Then these type of questions you have to address and you have to answer specifically in your research project. What period of time will the study include? Means what will be the maximum duration of the study, and how you are designing your study, in what specific time you will be the sample design, what techniques of data collection be used. Okay, so there are many techniques which you can use, so you have to specify which specific technique you are using and why you are using it. Proper justification needs to be given. How will the data be analyzed? Once the data you have collected through your data systems, how you will analyze that data? You need expertise from outside. You will do the data visualization. You will use softwares, or you will just, it is a limited data, you can do it manually. So you have to write all these things in a specific manner. In what style will the report be prepared? What will be the overall outcome of your project? Whether you are targeting the local authorities, so you are writing project report as a policy paper, you are targeting journal for the publication, or you so then you will be designing your experiment in such a manner, developing report so that you can produce this type of specific outcome. What are the deliverables after the project? You want to deliver some concept, some theory, some software, some model, or research publications, uh, patents, or policy papers. So you have to decide and you have to write that after the execution of this study, we are going to produce these things. And you also need to specify what is the quantity, like 2 research papers, 3 research papers you will be able to produce. At what level you will produce? You will publish them in your local journals, or you will publish, or you will ensure that they are published at high impact factor or good indexing journals. So all these questions help you to clearly write in unambiguous manner what are the requirement of your research work through research proposal. So that's why it is important. Research proposal is very important in research study, and whenever we are writing, it should be written in a very clear, unambiguous manner and with creativity. So research proposal is actually help us to order our thoughts, present preparatory material in logical way that we want to explore it in a big way, highlights the way in which each section is interrelated, because there are various sections and they all those sections are actually correlated under one theme, that you want to explore this area, you want to explore these questions, find out the answer of these questions. Assistance in defining boundaries of study and concept to be included. It also specify what is the limitation of the study, what this study is about and what this study is not about. So you have to clearly demark this area, that this study is about only this thing. It does not include the concept of these things and it does not address any question in this area. So it actually provide you the relevance, convince the reader that your project is original, interesting, essential for research fields you are working in. It provide the overall context of your research study, demonstrate your familiarity with the research field, shows that you know its current state, what is going on in your field, what are the latest work which have been achieved, and what are the understanding, what are the research gap which you would like to address through this research. You also write down your methodology and the approach using which you will reach to your conclusions. I am saying here conclusion, but these conclusions are not already decided conclusions. Conclusions in the form of the outcome, not in the form of the results. Okay, so feasibility, talk about the practical side of your project, confirm that you are able to complete the research within limits of the program or the institutions you are applying to. So all these things uh, are addressed by research proposal. That's why research proposal is very important. Now we have several type of research proposals. It depends on from which perspective we are actually considering our research proposal. For example, if we take into consideration academic degrees, so we can have MPhil degree proposal also, we can have PhD degree proposal, we can also have BTech, industrial, last year industrial internship research proposal also, we can also have masters last semester industrial proposal also. Okay, but from the perspective of the grant also we can see, so we can say that it is research doctoral research proposal for the degree. We can also say that research proposal for financial assistance from private sector, from government sector, from international bodies. We can say research proposal from grants, for grants which government has already floated to set the direction of the research in the country. So there are different aspects from which you can say that what are the types of the research proposals. If you are taking research proposal from your university and doing academic, then it is academic research proposal. If you are taking involved in government, then it is government research proposal, project research proposal, and then similarly the private one. So this way, depending on the context, depending on your research problem, you can decide which type of research problem you are working on and which is in which section you would like to put your research work in the form of proposal. So since now we have discussed up to this point research proposal, so we go to how the idea take place and how we can convert a simple idea into a good research proposal in humanities, in science, in sciences, in social sciences, in any area actually. So let's say we read the newspaper daily and we see that there are some news related to the fake news. Okay, so we read that in one news published in Indian Express, Gujarat man share morphed video of CM Vijay Rupani and held. He was held because he shared a fake video, and since it was a fake news, so it was against the law and he was arrested. Similarly, how targeted misinformation works on Indian social media. This is new title. Then Supreme Court tells Indian government and Twitter to find a way to curb hate speech online and shut down fake news. Then last one is, why is it becoming more difficult to detect deep fake videos, and what are the implications? So if you read newspapers, if you read these type of things, you will sometimes it may come in your mind, can I do something about the fake news? Okay, so if I can do something about the fake news, it depends on the idea or the expertise I have, and then from that perspective I will look into the problem and try to identify some problems. So then I'll ask some questions from myself, that what do I want to study and why? How is it significant within the subject areas covered in my desire, in my expertise? What problems will it help solve? Means if I am solving this problem, if I am working on this problem, is it a relevant problem or it is already solved? So I will do some basic study about it. How does it build upon and hopefully go beyond research already conducted on my topic? What exactly should I plan to do, and can I get it done in time available? So these basic questions you will ask yourself, and depending on the expertise and the research experience you are having in different disciplines like in management, philosophy, computer science, you can decide your own problem from the same theme, as we discussed in coronavirus case also. So let's take fake news and see that if we have 4 disciplines in front of us and people from these disciplines they want to conduct research on the fake news, so how they can design their questions and develop their research project thereafter. Let's take computer science. Computer science people are basically depends on the problem solving attitude. So they try to see the things in the scenario. In each case, they try to develop solutions, develop model through mathematical formulations and some software development so that the problem can be solved. So what they will do, they will ask, can I develop model or technique to detect fake news? For example, if can I develop one software app or application, Android app or iOS app in my mobile phone, as my message comes with any fake news, then it detects that this may be a fake news. So initially I am able to detect it 100% or not, that may not be the question, but it can be like 60%. With 60% probability, I can detect whether it is fake news or it can be fake news or not. So from that perspective, I can start one project like that from the simple idea we just discussed. If people from sociology background they are coming, they can actually understand how different sections of society respond to the fake news. For example, fake news is coming and it is impacting different people, different section of the society differently. People who are assumption is people who are educated, they may not be the victim of the fake news, but people who do not have any idea about critical information analysis and have what technological advancement have taken place, so they may be victim in large uh, quantity, and it may create problem for the society, and they may be misrepresented somewhere, and they may be manipulated through fake news channels, fake news or misinformation being circulated on WhatsApp, university, and all these things. As we see that people are representing the same situation from different perspective just to give it a different type of color, so that people take a different or convenient decision according to the person who is sending the fake news. So in this manner, sociological people, they can take the study and they can identify the sections which are more prone to the fake news and which becomes less victim to the fake news. Is there any correlation between education, or is there no correlation with the education? Who are the people who become more victim to the fake news? So this type of study can also be conducted and address some very relevant and important questions. Then you have management. In management, can I prove quantitatively how much negative impact fake news has over over businesses? Okay, for example, in some areas, one fake news is going on and some rumor is created, and by default, in result to that, the businesses around in that area, they are closed, and then that later on it was found that news was fake, so it created a problem in that area, it impacted the business activity. So what can be the impact, what is the level of impact on the livelihood of the people who are working in those businesses, on the profit of the business owners? So that can also be a very good study to enhance the already existing knowledge pool. Then if we come to the philosophy and ethics perspective, we see that there are ethical concerns related to that digital equality, gender justice, democracy, and manipulation of the large section of the society so that they can vote in particular direction, which create problem for the democracy. So these type of ethical concern can also be taken around fake news, and they can also be addressed through very simple questions and by developing research project around them. So now we come to the, once we have understood that this is the work we are going to do, these are our questions, these are the questions in our mind. So we have to write research proposal, and before we write research proposal, we have to understand each structure of our research proposal, each component of our research proposal. Like we have introduction, we have title, we have abstract, we have research context, then research problem statement, key research questions, hypothesis, research aim and smart objectives, significance of the study, identification of the relevant literature, methodology. Methodology will contain research design, research methods, research plan, data collection instrument and analysis. What is the timeline for conducting this research? What are the limitations of this research? And what are the findings of this research? And then references. So in this manner, we will write, some things may disappear, something extra may be added, but overall the component of the research proposal remains the same. These are the main and very important components. So we discuss each one of them. Suppose you want to write introduction of your research proposal. So what should you write? In research proposal, you must set, in introduction section of the research proposal, you must set the context of your research by mentioning what is known about the topic, why, what needs to be explored further, how much is known, what is left which needs to be explored. It also need to address that research will add these scientific input to the already existing knowledge. And after that, it also need to identify and give a brief introduction to a hypothesis that led to the development of this research design. Means you have discussed and you are trying to write this project. Why you are trying to write this project? What is the basis? How did you come to this point that this study should be conducted in such a manner? A research proposal should be written for this thing. So you have to justify this thing. Then what is the central research problem which you are trying to address? After that, you can write also about the methods which you are using, but earlier people who have done study in this area, they haven't used them, they have avoided these methods. So you are just exploring the different area with different methods, research methods or data collection methods. Why this research is important? This is one of the important question which you have to justify in clear terms, as much objective as you can become, that how much it is going to impact the society, how it will help the funders who are going to fund your research and the society as a whole. If we come to the title, so title is very important part. When you read the title, you can make the sense whether what is written inside the proposal and whether that should be read or not, because title is the first thing that everybody reads. In your jury people or the panel people, they will read. So it should be very predictable and it should be able to predict the content of your research paper just by reading the title. Nobody is going to read your complete research article, research proposal of 20-25 pages. Main thing they will read is title and keywords and your abstract. It should be interesting to readers. It should be written in interesting and very engaging language. It should be a very simple language. Okay, so you should not use dictionary by finding very difficult word so that nobody is able to understand, just to showcase that you are a very good speaker of English or a very good writer in the English. So it should be very simple, and you should be able to convey your message clearly in a coherent manner to the panel. It should contain important keywords that will make it easier to locate and keyword search whether the research study is relevant or not. And most important thing is that your title should be innovative, creative and attractive. Let's take two examples. In the first example, which is in the red box, I have done one experiment, and in that experiment I was doing, I collected news articles from the Hindu and NDTV and all other these news websites, and I designed one model in which automatically if you paste that article, it will tell you where it is to be placed in your website. So for that model, I have written research paper, I have done that work. So if I write the title of that work, in the first case, I have written text classification method using IDF and SVM, ELM and CNN. Sorry. So if you read this title, it is very complex. It is using highly technical language. Okay. And all of them are written in the short word. Okay. So we should try to avoid this type of title whenever we are writing research proposal, research paper, PhD thesis, anything. Okay. Title should be very innovative, creative, simple, clear, predictable and attractive. Now the same title which I write in the green one is interesting. If you read, it says where to place news stories, an intelligent method of classification of current affair text using inverse document frequency and machine learning approaches. So there is very less technical things in the title. All the title is conveying the information is that I want to place news stories and I want to classify them. I have used inverse document frequency, some method, and with the help of machine learning approaches, I have done that. So this way you have to simplify your research title so that it becomes interesting and other person thinks that this can be of my help, so I should read it. From that perspective, you should write your title. So let's take some examples from internationally published articles. So suppose you are working on the fake news. Then you are a fake news, political bias in perception of fake news. Stop talking about fake news. News you don't believe, audience perspective on fake news. So they are very simple titles which gives you the confidence that you can open this report, you can open this research proposal, you can open this research work and read it further. But if I am complicating my article, I am not conveying everything clearly, then by default it will not be read and less attention will be given to that work. Now, how to write research abstract. So in research abstract is actually basically a summary of your research proposal. And since you have in research proposal many components, so it is a fine balance of all components represented in your abstract. If you are writing a paper in which you have 5 sections or research proposal in which you have 5 sections, suppose introduction, literature survey, research methodology, research design, proposed model, and result discussions and conclusions. So, and you have to write research abstract in 300 words. So you allocate, you divide your abstract in such a manner that each section of your paper is represented. So you first provide journal background, you then go to specific background, then you address the knowledge gap. After that, you put that by your method you have developed, you have provided these results, your experiment gives these results, and these results have these implications which are important or not important. So you have to write everything uh, in a specific manner, giving balance to your abstract by giving representation to each section of your research proposal. Then what is the background study? In background study, you will outline the historical developments in the literature according to the current topic which you are trying to study. If your study is interdisciplinary, then it should be how different disciplines are connected, how they are interrelated, and in which discipline is foundation discipline and which other disciplines are actually contributing to that discipline and contributing from outside, what aspects of each discipline will be studied. So these things you have to put in your background study, and you have to write everything from the scientific perspective. What is known about, what is this broad topic which you are addressing, what are the missing gaps, links which needs to be addressed, what is the significance of addressing those gaps, if we leave those gaps as it is, what problem it may create in the future, why do you want to address them, then what is the rationale and hypothesis of your study. So these things you will write in background study. Then you address key questions in your project. Okay, like you provide the hypothesis if it is a statistical project and you want to test whether the question you are asking that is valid or not. So a hypothesis is a statement that can be tested by scientific research. If you want to test a relationship between two or more things, you need to write hypothesis before you start your experiment or data collection. For example, if you have you want to address two questions and give the specific answer, a scientific and objective answer to the questions, like number of lectures attended by a first year student has no effect on their final year exam score. So you want to prove or disprove this statement by your research design, conducting your research design, collecting your data, and then you want to prove or disprove it. Then you can also have question which you want to address, but that question should be very specific in your research proposal. Number of lectures attended by first year student has a positive effect on their final exam score. So you want to prove it, you want to disprove it. Accordingly, you design your experiment and you go ahead with it. So now we come to the literature survey, that it is very important part which tells you that what are the research gaps which you are addressing in your research proposal. So basic rule of this is 5C rule, which you can follow, in which you cite the primary focus on the literature pertinent to your research problem, what you have collected your uh, research papers, research proposals, research reports, and then you identify the what is the primary focus of that literature in reference to your research problem. Then you compare various arguments given, various models given, theories given, their outcomes, what are the methodologies they have done, findings they have expressed. So you explain these things in a unambiguous and clear manner, so that the person who is reading your research proposal gets a very fair idea about that you have covered, you have completed this comparison part, and it is a valid comparison which you have done. Then by citing the relevant resources always in your research survey, then you provide the contrast of various arguments, themes, methodologies, that this is providing this methodology is discussing this thing is discussing these things. Then you critique them, that this uh, methodology was used, this theme was used, this argument was put forward, but this is lacking this aspect. So from that perspective, you create argument which are more persuasive, and you justify why they are more persuasive in the given context of your study, which approaches, findings, and methodologies are more reliable in the present context, or in the area, in the context in which you are conducting your study and trying to write your research proposal, what is appropriate and why it is appropriate. So you have to everything uh, give in a proper, with a proper justification in your research proposal literature survey. And always the words which you are using in your work, you should pay attention to them. Whenever you are asserting something, so assert should be used. Whenever you are demonstrating demonstrations, when you are arguing something, argue word should be there. Okay, means whatever exactly you are trying to do, a suitable word should also be used, so that it gives a it gives a good impression that you have done your work thoroughly. Then you connect your literature with the research and your intended research questions, how they are connected to what study you are trying to do, and what significance achievement you want to make, or what significant contribution you want to do in the research area or in the already existing knowledge pool. So you have to justify that thing in the last part of your literature survey. So then comes the research methodology. So research methodology is basically a design which help us to conduct our experiment, and it is the soul of our research work. So it simply refers to the practical how any given piece of research, more specifically it is about a researcher systematically design a study to ensure valid and reliable results that address the research system. Sometimes what happens, that we use research methods and research methodology simultaneously, and sometimes we use research methods and we can also use research methodology, but they have little bit some difference. Sorry. So they have some different. Research method is actually a instrument or behaviors that we have used and selected in our technique. And research methodology is a science or a framework of understanding how research is performed methodologically. So both the things are different, but sometimes they are used interchangeably. Next is resources. So in resources, you need to provide in the research proposal resources, type of resources, and their justification as well. So in data, if you want to collect data and you want to do design data systems, then what data to collect, what data to ignore, who are the participant, what is the basic understanding of those participants, is there any educated education related criteria or any location specific criteria, geographic location specific criteria you want to address. How to collect it, this is called data collection methods. You want to use technological tools or you want to go by the paper and pen method and do interviews, surveys, depending on the qualitative research or quantitative research you are doing. How to then analyze this, so this comes under data analysis methods. Like you want to do inferences, you want to critical analysis, discourse, so all these things comes under this part. Then you also decide about space requirement is there or not, how much space is required, softwares, which software is required in which part of the research activity, computing facility do you require, how many computers do you require, what is their uh, uh, what is their configuration, means you need high performance computing facility or simple laptop will work you with you. You need administrative support, what type of administrative support you need, special assistant to be involved in your area or human in your research project. Human resources, like how many JRF, how many postdocs, how do you design your uh, work, what is the requirement of human resources, whether they you can use them part time or full time, you need them for first 6 months, then you will work alone, like that. So whole situation you actually write clearly in your research proposal. So then we come to the research proposal execution time. So this type of design or a chart you create in which you compartmentalize your activities of your research which you have which you want to achieve, and then you put them how much is 25%, how much is 50%, how much is 75% of overall project, and how much is 100%, and then accordingly you align those activities in terms of their dependency uh, and research methodology or research design. How much will be completed in 6 months, then how much will be completed in 12th month. Okay, which activity depend on which activity, so what is the prerequisite, you put the prerequisite before, and after that you follow the next stage of the activities. So in this manner you provide the detailed chart of your execution. If your project is of 3 hours, then you will provide it six months. If it is of 1 month, then also you can do it. Means anywhere it should be there, because it helps you and you as well as the funding authority to understand if you are following the schedule, if you are behind the schedule or ahead of the schedule. So it helps you a lot. So that is why it is very important to be prepared. Then comes the budget. In the budget section you will provide the financial support which you are asking for, where it will be used. It will be used in project staff. So JRF, how many JRF you need per month, how much salary do you give to the JRF, and then what will be the equipment related requirement, what is the domestic do you have any domestic travel in your project, or you want to demonstrate your work at international level, so is there any international travel also, or is it allowed by the funding agency or not? Because sometimes some funding agencies provide you international support, some categorically state that no no travel support will be provided under this project. So what are the consumables which you will require, contingency fund, then miscellaneous funds you also provide. Then comes the institutional overhead, where you are actually part of the you are faculty of that institution, college, university or research institution. So for conducting and using their facility, you take some part of your fund they take. So that is sometimes 10%, 20% depending on the institution itself. So you have to put this type of a clear cut representation of the budget in each activity, in each equipment requirement in your proposal. And one of the most important part is the research proposal ethical guidelines. So nowadays what is that in each institution you should have ethical committee or ethical panel which passes projects which have some ethical issues. For example, if you are collecting data, so how you are maintaining the integrity of the data you are collecting, what type of data you are collecting, whether that is going public or not, how are you going to secure it, whose responsibility it is to secure it. So these questions you have to address specifically when you are related these things. If you are doing in the biological domain, so are you harming any creature, and to what level it is means. So these ethical committees come into picture so that your research becomes a process and follows the ethical guidelines provided by funding agencies as well as overall research management agencies in country or at international level. So once after completion of this part, you have fair understanding of how to write the research proposal. In each section, what is to be write, what is to be focused, how to develop a simple idea into a full-fledged research project. Now comes, if it is a small study, you don't need funding, then you can do it alone, no problem at all. But if you need funding, then you need to write for the funding agencies, and you have to then identify which funding agency I have to write. So this part becomes very important now, that you have designed, you have created your mind that you want to address these questions and you want to achieve the results, but you need money, and for money you have to identify what is the context of your study, why you are conducting this study, what is the vision of this study, and you have to identify those funding agencies, international or national, according to the vision of your project. You have to target them. It should not be like that you are you are following a ethical type of digital ethics uh, research proposal, and then you are applying for funding in Department of Biotechnology in biology domain. Okay, so that this will not happen. No funding will be given. So accurately, your idea should match with the vision of that funding agency. Otherwise, there is wastage of resources. So these are some of the funding agencies. You can apply for University Grant Commission funding. Then you can, there are minor research projects, major research projects also. You can also go for Indian Statistical Institute for specific funding, Indian Council of Social Science Research, Reserve Bank of India for macroeconomic related project funding. You can take from National Council for Applied Economic Research, National Institute of Public Finance and Policy, and Institute of Economic Growth. It is part of University of Delhi and under Ministry of Finance. So they also do micro and macro economics related projects. So you can also apply for funding there when they ask for funding, or on your own by floating the proposal and sending that proposal to them. Indira Gandhi National Center for Arts, New Delhi, for Humanities and Social Sciences, National Nehru Memorial Museum and Library, Indian Council for Cultural Relations, Indian Council of Historical Research, Indian Council of Social Science Research, Indian Council of Philosophical Research. Some international funding agencies are also like these: American Academy in Rome, Association of Commonwealth Universities, Bradley Foundation Grant Program, British Council, British Institute in Eastern Africa, Cannon Foundation Fellowships, Commonwealth Foundation, Co-Reach Social Science, Collaborate Research between Europe and China, DARWA, international funding agencies, Anglo-Japanese Foundation, Earthwatch Institute, Ford Foundation, Greenpeace Foundation, Fulbright Foundation, Fulbright Commission, Harry Frank Guggenheim Foundation, Harry Ramsden Humanities Research Center. So there are many: Horwick Foundation for Social Policy, International Federation of University of Women, Toyota Foundation, Venner Grain Foundation for Anthropological Research, Social Science Research Council, and World Bank, Monetary Fund, World Economic Forum, Asian Development Bank, United Nations, various organs of United Nations. They also fund the research projects, and they also have their projects which they float. And if you want to develop or work according to their vision, then you can also explore that opportunity. World Trade Organization and International Food Policy Research Institute, Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, which I forgot to write. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It is private foundation, but it also gives you extensive funding even for travel. Wellcome Trust is very well-known trust in biological sciences. which can be explored for funding. But if it is something related to the biological species and some humanities related aspects, so welcome trust can also be used. Then you have government schemes like Impress, which you can follow, and on these topics they actually provide you projects, research project. They ask for the project proposal, and then on the platform you apply, you upload the project proposal, you include your principal investigator and co-principal investigators, and accordingly it is peer reviewed, and then you are allocated the project amount accordingly. So these are some examples which you can follow on the website of the Impress, where these type of peoples are given. There is some misconception that people from a better university or better department or college, they get the funding. It is not like that. It is mainly about the idea which you want to explore. If it is innovative, worth for the investigation, then it will definitely get the funding. I would encourage that I think we should write innovative project, read and prepare our project in a coherent and in unambiguous manner, and objectivity and novelty should be the prime importance when we are writing the projects. So these are the things which we need to consider when we are writing research proposals our for our funding in humanities. But there are some useful advice which I would like to write, that whenever you have any idea, you start writing. Do not think about that you will explain everything and you will learn everything around and then only you will write. Whatever you are getting, even a simple problem if you have, then you start writing about the abstract, and then you refine that abstract and think whether it is achievable or not, feasible or not, what is required, what is not required, then start writing. So write early, write, apply early and quite often. Okay. So try, you may fail, you may be rejected, don't worry. Again, apply somewhere else. Don't forget to include a cover letter with your application. Answer all questions which they have asked in their proposal. Okay, whatever you are writing, that may be specific to one proposal, but if you are sending the same proposal to another agency, so you have to completely modify it according to their requirement. If rejected, revise your proposal and apply again. Give them what they want. Exactly, give them the relevant information only. Do not write extra things. Do not include irrelevant information in your project proposal. Follow the application guidelines exactly. Be specific and explicit. Be realistic in designing the project. Do not think that something unachievable you can write and you can take the project. Which things which are achievable, which are deliverable, you can only deliver those things and write project about keeping your expectations realistic. Make explicit connections among component. Whatever components you are writing, they should be all connected and under certain theme of your research project, or the theme which you are catering across all the structures of your research proposal. Develop a specific and meaningful actionable plan and make sure that you write everything uh, depending on what task to be done before, what task to be done after that. So maintain the sequence and the way things should be done. Consider how your plan will achieve positive result. Locate a granting organization. Source the fund. Project like the one you have in mind means the purpose and vision of that funding agency or the goal for which they are asking for the project and your project, they should match. Research organization means it should match with the mission and their plan accordingly. Review the organization proposal guidelines and write your research proposal in such a manner. So I think now I conclude my presentation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sharma. I invite upon participants to put their questions in the chat. Dr. Sharma, that was indeed a very exhaustive and a very elaborate elaboration on how to prepare a proposal. And apparently a lot of people are in the chat appreciating it. I have Dr. Preeti Tiwari, who is quite happy about the detailed presentation, and Sejal Pandya mentions that it was a very nicely explained presentation. Meanwhile, while others, take time to type their questions, I just wanted some highlight, if you can do, when you are preparing your proposal for funding. How, if you can give a guideline as to how you frame or you know trace the amount that you normally a funding agency will tell you that this is the upper limit, or this is how much you can ask for. But even within that framework, how do you go about defining what would be the cost of a particular project?
Ma'am, it depends on the research questions you are addressing. Sometimes what happens that you have listed 5 research questions, and for those 5 research questions which you want to deliver, you have suppose 3 research papers you want to deliver out of the research project. Now what happens if you are presenting that thing to the jury? They will ask you, if they do not have fund to of that level, they will ask you that you revise your proposal and reduce your objectives from 5 to 3 or 4, because we cannot give you that much amount, we have to reduce it. The main focus of funding agency always is to increase number of projects on which they can give funding, not the large funding to a particular project. So from that perspective, they go about it. So means we can limit that thing according to the requirement. When we are very specialized in that domain, so we can easily understand whether a simple human resource, a JRF or one postdoc or 2 JRF or postdoc will be able to deliver that project in that time or not. Because before without that understanding, we cannot write that project. So that understanding should be clear from our personal experience. Then we should write and claim that how much, this much we are requiring for investigation and for writing our research proposal. I hope I have answered your question.
Yeah, you have. Thank you very much. I request people on the group if you have any questions for Dr. Sharma. I think everybody has been really satisfied with the manner in which you